Hey guys, I am joined right now by TJP. You know him from his time in Impact Wrestling, WWE, all over the world. You can catch him on MLW TV now. He is one of the participants in the MLW Opera Cup. Kicks off October 2nd at MLW Fightland in Philadelphia. TJ, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right, Bill. How about yourself?
Not too bad. I'm actually in the Philadelphia suburbs right now, and it's raining, so I'm hoping by the time Fightland rolls around, it's a little bit better weather, so I can actually go out.
Oh, the rain. I don't mind the rain so much, but the humidity of the East Coast just kills me.
Yeah, absolutely. I have my air conditioning still on for that reason. It's just like it's almost hot.
Sometimes rain helps mitigate it a little bit, like a hot, humid day. Oh, it,
Yeah,
it just, oh man, that kills me.
yeah. It was appreciated this afternoon because it did exactly that. I do want to talk about your history in the Opera Cup before we get
uh,
into the return of Fusion. This is your third year in the Opera Cup. You
yeah,
actually lost in the first round the first 2 years out,
yeah.
2019 and 2020. How do you turn things around? I mean, not that you had an easier time any of these 3 years, but you're going up against Alex Shelley, who presents an interesting challenge, a guy that, you actually did recently work with last year, but what are you thinking going into this year? How do you get over the hurdle to the second round?
Well, I was comparing it with the Super J Cup. Each of the last couple of years, I've been in both the Opera Cup and the J Cup, and it's an honor to be in both. I need to get past the dang first round, though. That's the part that's killing me. But it's always interesting for me, especially with I mean either one of those two terms, Opera Cup too, specifically for the Opera Cup, the type of talent that's on the MLW rosters, I think much more unique than any of the other rosters. At least the places that I'm currently kind of circling. I guess I'm a wayward traveler these days, but like Impact, I think a lot of people are familiar with a lot of the guys that are there, especially coming into the X Division, and some of the guys that have been kind of stalwarts there for a while. New Japan, kind of the same thing. And I'm a returning guy for New Japan. So a lot of the guys that are the elder statesmen there were guys that were there when I came up almost 20 years ago. MLW though has guys that you really won't see anywhere else, and matches that you wouldn't see anywhere else. So like, I'm kind of faced with opponents that are very different in that way. I don't know where else I would have run into, Pillman, for example. Davey coming back, he's a unique commodity because you really only see him at MLW, unless you catch him regionally at like a local card. And even then, I still think that it's a little bit rare. And then Alex Shelley, almost the same deal. He's a unique and niche performer right now. He's not as common as he used to be. So like, and for me, Shelley is a guy I've known, God, 20 years. And we have very similar styles. And the way that we put stuff together is pretty similar because he can do a lot of different things, so kind of like me. And we even have a similar aesthetic, I think, on the outside too, a little bit. Like we're friends for a reason. I guess that's probably why. But it'll be interesting for me because he's kind of the type of guy that I would go in there and I could kind of end up turning my brain off and going on autopilot, and before I know it, I've had a pretty good little war going. So I look forward to it for that reason.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
just getting in with somebody that's so like-minded like me. So
I knew off the top of my head, I knew you guys faced off at Warrior Wrestling last year. That's the one that I
yeah,
mentioned last year. But going back and actually looking, you guys haven't really shared a ring since, if I have it correct, Victory Road in 2008, the TNA pay-per-view. So it's
that is
it's
correct. Yeah.
been a while. One thing you mentioned, your opponent Davey Richards. We got to see the return of MLW Fusion Alpha. Uh, you had a little bit of an arrogance to your promo last night. You called out Davey for quitting the business, and is this you kind of leaning into what people want you to be, the online persona, or is that just, you know, a playful jab? Because it seems like you're showing you know, you're showing a little bit more of an edge than we're used to in the past.
I mean, a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B, I guess. I hate to pull back curtains as a magician, you know, but I guess I'll do it in this case a little bit. People didn't respect Piper in 1984, if you get what I'm saying. We do now, but at the time, you wanted to set the guy on fire. And I think there's magic to that. So I don't know, is it leaning in or is it really me? It's kind of nice not letting people know what if it is or isn't. It definitely was a playful jab, and perhaps it's what a lot of people were thinking and maybe reluctant to say out loud. And in a lot of ways, it's fun because Davey, like Shelley, is an old friend of mine. I've known him a long time. So so it can be that as well. But you know, I don't, as a fourth wall sort of thing, if I'm meant to be the bad guy, I don't want you to respect me as an artist. Mm-hmm. You know, if you don't really hate me, then what am I doing, right?
All right. Well, before we get in too far as to how the sausage is made, we'll just leave it at that. And you know, that conversation comes up a lot about, you know, not appreciating people in their prime, and, you know, appreciating them more after they're gone. So, you know, the Piper analogy totally makes sense. I
think that's how we identify the best magicians. My opinion, that's how I identify them.
One other thing that you recently brought up, I'll put them over. You talked to the Wrestling Perspective podcast, and you were talking about Vince McMahon, and, you know, kind of speaking about people being misunderstood or, you know, taking things out of context. You said that you feel like part of him is this I'm reading the quote, part of him is this lonesome dude inside that's like, why won't anybody just talk about AC/DC and football with me?
Yeah. So I think a lot of people took that a little too literally.
I would like to think that Vince sits around on Sundays and, like, you know, has, you know, the New England Patriots on from Connecticut, and, you know, every time SmackDown comes on, he likes, that's who picked the theme song. So I'm an AC/DC fan. But, yeah, you know, it shows you know, still a sort of playfulness, or, you know, not taking things too literally seriously on your part. What kind of reception, like, I know you got some a few expletive chants on the Philadelphia episode. What type of reception are you think you're going to get against Alex going back into Philadelphia this time? You got some of this, you know, a few curse words thrown your way against Davey. So what do you think the atmosphere is going to be like this time?
I hope they throw rocks in the ring. Shit. Wouldn't be the first time. No, whatever's clever. I mean,
snowballs and batteries, just like Sam.
Yeah,
just like they used to do it at Eagles games.
If my last day on Earth was getting buried by debris thrown in the ring, legendary. So I'm all for that. I don't know.
Right. Well, I have somebody on the phone. They're my witness. I did not approve of this. You said pelt. You said pelt TJ with garbage and all the stuff in Philadelphia. That was totally your own doing. Waiving responsibility.
I don't know. I think, and I say this with a lot of things, and I think about this in real life too. This is my real life attitude as far as, like, negativity goes sometimes. Because I grew up as a kid that was bullied a lot of negativity when I was growing up. And as I got older, the perspective for me was that, well, you know, if I'm not and I don't speak for everybody, everybody's different. We all have different levels of strength and psyches and stuff. And I feel like we should respect that and consider that for people. But for me, my own perspective, when I was growing up getting bullied was, well, if I'm not hurt and I can still live my life, if they feel the need to do that to entertain themselves and somehow that's making their day better, great, fine. I'm okay with that, and I feel that way about even just being bullied now, in or out of the ring. If it makes people feel better to hate me so much that like they want to see me just get creamed, great. If it makes people feel good to drag me down in my personal life, great. I mean, that's kind of what I signed up for, right? To make people happy or like entertain them or give them something to feel. I don't mind being the fall guy for that sort of thing. And that's usually why I don't fight back a lot. But in Philly, shows like this, the atmosphere of that, I just, I've been on the other side of that. I've been on the other side of the guardrail for those types of moments. And that's what makes people feel alive. And if I have to be the guy burning at the stake, that's fine. That's my role. I think about Sean getting pelted with a beer on the way to the Montreal match. That's a famous clip, it just shakes it off and everybody's going wild. Like, I'm fine with that. I love that. I think if everybody's having fun doing that, or they feel alive doing that, or whatever the case is, if it makes their night, do it. And I think against a guy like Alex Shelley, who's super popular and everybody really loves him, including myself, I anticipate it might be even more rowdy than it was with Davey. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. I have a couple of quick questions and then I'll get you out of here. If you had to pick a match, maybe people didn't know that you were going from Impact to MLW or New Japan to MLW, if they want to catch up on what you've been doing, I know you've had some pretty big indie matches in the past year or so and on New Japan Strong. Any standout matches that you would say they should maybe check out in the meantime? Anything stand out to you that you would say, this is a good representation of the work I've done lately?
Yeah, if I had to pick a couple, I might say me versus Davey Richards from the last MLW, and maybe me versus Josh Alexander from the Impact, the Iron Man match that we had. Mm-hmm. I'd say those two are probably a pretty good to sum me up, or any of the tags I did with Follow as well.
Okay. All right. Final question, the most important one. Did you settle on a Halloween costume for your kid yet?
Oh man, Pumpkin has been the runaway since before he was born. Okay. I don't think Aria is going to let me choose anything different. But I pushed a little hard for baby dresses strawberry, but I think Pumpkin's going to be the one.
Yeah. I ask as the guy who struggles with that choice every single year, so it doesn't go away. It's last minute. And congratulations again on your addition. So you guys can check out TJ, as I said, MLW Fightland, the MLW Opera Cup kicks off October 2nd, first round matchup against Alex Shelley. Thanks very much for your time today.
No, thank you. Yeah, guys, throw pies at me.
Don't waste beers. They're too expensive these days.
Yeah, please. Yeah, drink those. Drink those. Throw tomatoes.
All right.